Let's light this candlestick and put this bitch into orbit. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Monday, February 16th, 2025. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. We got a lot of stuff to get to today, my friends, and actually, we covered this stuff about Obama on Saturday Night Show as soon as it happened. I believe we covered it. So on that note, let's go ahead and take a look and see who we have in the audience and welcome in my friends. Oh, I need to increase the size of that font because I can't see for shit. There we go. Let's welcome Amiga Rules. Andy W's in the chat and he's in the back. And Ann's here along with A. Phil, April Coleman. Good to see you, my dear lady. We got Brennan England, Craig Smith, Dan Larev is out there along with Enoch the Witness and Eric Groth and the Gurus. Two long names next to each other. Go figure. Firefly is here along with Firestarter. We got Geraldine DeRazio, Grateful Benny, Hollywood Harold. Yeah, of course he's here for Obama. Just jump in the back, my friend. Who else is out there? We need people to balance this thing out on the blue and on the red. Who else do we have out there? We got Hollywood Harold. JJ's out there. Kathy and Kelly Broad, those piercing blue eyes. I know you're out there somewhere, Kelly, so say hey. Matt Ramon is out there. Good to see my friend Megan Batts. We got Mr. Catfish 2100, Europe. He's like the longest time serial subscriber here at Disclosure Tonight, but we got Nathan Forrest, Nightshade Giggle is out there. Who else do we have out there? Mute that. There we go. Who else do we have out there? We've got Plywood. My eyes are just jumping everywhere here. Plywood Pigeons out there along with Prison Films US, Ronnie Deal, and Rodney Cox. We got Sam, Scooby Dooby Gooby, Shelley Montgomery, Steven Forbes, Steve Hines, a Super Unknown, Truth Seeker, Two Midgets on a Horse, and E. Wendy. How about that? We freaking made it through it, my friends. Holy cow. Yeah. I had a fun time putting this title together. I guess I could have done it with AI, but I like cutting stuff out, like old scissors and stuff, and having a fun time. If you'll notice the scale, Obama's a tall guy, but so is Susan Gough. Towers over Obama. Girthy, wonderful woman. Yes, Obama came out and gave us some interesting conversation, which he pulled back. Thank you, Susan. Before we get into too much, let's go ahead and get into the first video clip here. We got a special guest in the back to talk about this as well. Yes, let's get to this thing if we can. Let's get to, where am I going to? Documents solo. Let's go to here. All right. So this is an interview on the Brian Tyler Cohen podcast, which we showed during, I believe it was our Saturday or Friday show, one of the two. I think it was Saturday's show. And Obama spills the beans about aliens being real. Now, just realize Susan Gough has got to be pissed because she has all of the words, everything completely locked down. Any word about anything with UFOs in the federal government is handled by Susan Gough, flat out. And old Brock comes by and spills the bean, which he's going to retract in a bit. However, it's a matter of national security. Whoops. Let's see where this goes, and let's listen to it word by word. Here we go. Mikey, if you're there, you want to jump in on this one?
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're
on.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in.
Okay, so the aliens are real. Obama said this multiple times, hasn't he, Mike?
He has. He made it a point as soon as he left office to do a late night interview and turned around and said that there are objects in our skies and we don't know what they are and they behave in ways that we can't, but they are real. And then the next day, there was a press conference with the new President Biden. And when he was asked at the end of the conference about it, his only answer was, go ask Barack. So,
right, I remember that one. And he was so quick. He was so quick to avoid it, to run away from the overall, if you want to call it, microphone. He actually had his little bug in his ear, and he actually got hung up on the podium, going away from it when he was trying to run out of the conversation.
Oh yeah, he was breaking both his legs to get out of that press conference when they asked him that. Yep. And so not the first time that we have had Barack Obama drop a bomb like that and move off. So here we go again.
So first, aliens are real.
Kept in, they're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in.
I haven't seen them, meaning he hasn't seen them in person, but he's talking under the authority like these things are real.
Right. Which means he was read in.
Right. Now let's get to the next part.
What is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy and they hid it from the President of the United States.
Okay. Unless there's this big conspiracy, is he letting us in on the inside of that one? It sounds like it, that they hid it from the President of the United States.
Which means that obviously the President of the United States is read in on any extraterrestrial or interdimensional technology or entities that we may be in possession of. The President is aware of it, but he's saying there's no underground facilities, that unless there is a huge conspiracy hiding it, even from members of the government.
You know why this is important, right? He's getting this out there at this point ahead of Trump. But even if Trump came out and said this, 50% of the public out there, or 45%, whatever it is these days, would go ahead and they wouldn't believe what he has to say. So now we've got the answer on the far left blue side, and now we're going to get it back on the center right side.
Well,
potentially.
Well, this could be their way of forcing Trump's hand into moving forward and giving an answer on this. Or they're just trying to get it out there and want the current administration to deal with it. I don't know, because we haven't really gotten enough information on this from anybody.
Well, interesting point coming from, this is Breaks, I think. Can't see it. Yeah, this is Beeks. Wake up, morons. The only reason why Obama is saying this is he's trying to get the subject off the Epstein files. Fucking duh. But that's what they would say about Trump, of bringing this up, that he's trying to get this off the Epstein files, right? So here we've got someone on the opposite side of the fence. Do you think there's a lot of Dems in there he's trying to cover up for and distract from?
Well, you and I talked about this privately. If people want to detract anything from Epstein, the only thing that would get the public's attention above that would be aliens or NHI or UAP. That would be the only thing to shift the conversation off of that with Epstein.
Right.
So this could be a tactic that they're using from both sides. What we've been finding out with the release of these Epstein files is that, believe it or not, it's also bipartisan. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle
just like UFOs, it's bipartisan, yeah.
It's bipartisan, yeah.
Oh, God, there's Tim Burchett even bringing up stuff about the dentist chairs and other stuff and different things they're doing, pulling teeth from kids. It sounds really frickin' evil.
Oh, no, it is. We're not going to go there. It's a bad rabbit hole to go down. But the point is that if someone wants to move off of that, they are going to get into this topic on disclosure. That's it.
Well, it's about time we get some press on it. My God.
Oh, it is. It's long overdue. It's definitely about time.
Oh, yeah. Ed, you have your hand up, my friend?
I sure do, Thomas. It's always hard following Mike, though, because he gives all the answers I was going to comment on. Did a very good job of that, too. But let me point out, in the original clip that you just showed, I thought there was some hesitation. He couldn't even really remember Area 51 until he was told Area 51. And then when he got into there are no underground facilities, I think he's just stretching for something, looking for something to say.
Right. Now, one thing, let's play the rest of this, Ed. Hang on here for a second.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens? Laugh. Good thing.
You really think he was asked that?
Well, here's the thing. This is Obama. The Democrats and Obama and everybody likes to make sure all the questions you're going to be asked are vetted and approved, right?
Well, sure. And the difference between him and had it been Biden, Biden would have pulled out a card out of his pocket and read it. Sorry, I just had to throw in that Biden comment.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. We all see things from different sides of the fence. Let's get to Sharky Marky, and then we'll go to Daryl.
Yeah, so I just want to update you on the comments that Obama made on Instagram.
Yeah, we're going to be bringing that up shortly, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to comment on it.
Well, just put your, we'll get to you in a second then. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds great. Yep.
All right, Daryl, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on or respond to Ed's question. He said, do you really think he asked that on day one, or however it was phrased? And I think he did. And the reason why is because he said it would be the greatest conspiracy ever to have kept us from a president of the United States. So I have a feeling he asked and wanted definitive information.
Yeah. Ed, what say you?
Well, I don't disagree with Daryl. I mean, that's a possibility too. But I was thinking it was more theatrical in this particular case, where he had to come with a comeback of some kind, and that's when he said, "Well, that was the first question I asked."
The
one that really wanted this information released, though, was Hillary. You remember her insistence that if she became president, that would be something she definitely did, and that was after Bill Clinton was unable to get the information when he asked the question.
Yeah, well, he had Monica, so. That kind of got in the way a little bit.
I don't know if we're ever going to know Obama's true position on that. But now back to the reason, I don't think it's related to the Epstein files. I think it's related to the
timeline we have in front of us. And, right. In order, if we want to get consistency across the 100% of the American people, you have to have someone like Barack come out and say it. Because if Kamala came out and said it, she'd be stumbling over words for 2 minutes and couldn't get it out. Barack said it eloquently. There's so many people. I mean, Matt Ford is jumping up and down about this stuff. Absolutely. Him and StandForBetter.org, they're true blue Dems. And this is giving them from that side of the fence. And because, again, if Trump brought this out now, they'd say, and like the other person had said earlier, oh, you're just bringing this out because of the Epstein files, trying to cover it up from you.
I think he's bringing it up because he knows that on July the 8th, that Trump may say something, and he wants to beat him to the punch.
I would say we would all be blessed if all of a sudden aliens got more attention than the Epstein files.
Oh, God, yeah. Sometimes you need to have that, Uno card to be able to pull out and screw everybody.
Trump card.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Not the reverse card. Yeah. All right. So on that note, we do have the clip that Sharky Marky was going to go ahead and talk about next. Let's bring it up. This is... Oh, I need to change my title. I need to get back to... Oh, where's that at? Hold on. I need a window to bring it up. 1 second here. Title cards. Come on. Get to the top. Oh, our dear lady, Susan. You know what? I can just bring her up here. There we go. Susan Gough, the wonderful lady who's in charge of everything UFOs across the entire federal government. All of it, Daryl. Every single part of it. She is in control of it. Now, Brock came out and made a statement which probably freaked her the fuck out. We have a national security incident. We have a former president who's gone out there and admitted aliens are real. You're not supposed to do that. That goes against everything. You need to walk this back. Right?
Yeah, I think he's. I think probably a lot of people were trying to find more clarity in what he was saying, and so he was a popular president of the United States, and people are going to start saying things immediately.
Of course, and he knew that, saying it. Look, he's laughing, he's all jesting and everything at this point, and he knows he just gave out the money card with that expression. He said the words he wasn't supposed to say. That he's no longer president, he shouldn't be declassifying it because now he cannot declassify stuff by thought like Trump can. No, he has to go through the stuff that he can. I know that's just... All right, so Barack Obama, what did he say the next day after this? I was trying to stick with the spirit of the speed round. Oh, you mean the speed round that you already vetted all the questions on and you know what answers you were going to give. But since it's gotten attention, let me clarify. Okay, here comes the answer to walk it back. She's watching. Statistically, Susan says, the universe is so vast, and we need to get NASA involved on this and have them write something up. The universe is so vast that the odds are good there's life out there. But the distances between solar systems, don't forget we're talking about dimensions all the time here, folks. They're not from another solar system. They're coming here from another dimension, are so great that the chances we've been visited by aliens is low. And I saw no evidence during my presidency that extraterrestrials, here's that word again, that comes from RO all the time, Mike. It's the stuff from Susan that extraterrestrials have made contact with us, really, because, Mike, don't they say all the time that we could be dealing with things that could be extra-dimensional?
David Grush said that under oath in testimony and in interviews. And the scientific research on behalf of the government already knows that the technology that we've seen exhibited in our skies is an example of interdimensional, not extraterrestrial. And the attorneys, the lawyers, are very clear about if you use a word like extraterrestrial and they are in fact not extraterrestrial, you're not lying when you say there's no extraterrestrials. That's
why even recently it was, I think Christopher Sharp from the Liberation Times went out there and reclarified with Susan Gough about the term of extraterrestrial, and she decided not to comment on that.
Well, he wanted to try to trap her into the use of that terminology, and then he told her, Christopher Sharp, that if what you said about extraterrestrials doesn't apply, then I'm going to rephrase your statement and put it the way that it should be. Do you agree with that? And she came back and told him, no, I don't. Don't change anything. So she wanted to leave it just the way that it was.
Right, because they're being very specific for a reason. Because if something's been here for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years, they're actually from Earth. Think about the generations that go on. Think about the migrants who come into different places and say, hey, I'm now from America or different places. I was born here. The same would go for non-human intelligence, right? Where they came here millions of years ago. They continue to go ahead and reproduce and everything, which means they're no longer alien to this planet. They've immigrated here. Ed, what say you?
He missed all that, didn't he? I think what would be interesting at this point, Thomas, would be if he just actually had the intestinal fortitude to stand up and say, no, my original comment was right. And I was told I was supposed to say this other stuff. Of course, he won't do that.
No, of course not.
Let's look at it in perspective. How significant is his stumbling through aliens are real compared to all the testimony in the age of disclosure, where was it 40-some officials said they're real, they're out there?
I mean, hell, his even director of national intelligence was James Clapper, the guy who came out in the movie recently and said, he was involved with the shoot down and recovery efforts.
Yeah, I mean, we're all saying the same thing now, that we can't seem to find a point at which there will be enough testimony to throw it over the edge to where the general public says, yes, they're real. I think that's what we're missing.
Yeah. Do you think this could be something of a soft disclosure, kind of like we've seen in other places? Maybe as Colonel Carnell would call it, controlled disclosure.
Well, I think it could be. And I think things are accelerating toward, a September 2026 date.
Oh, yeah. We're going to see, aren't we? Sharky, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just want to say Obama's the biggest liar I've ever seen, I've ever heard. Let me clarify. I think that's really
Hollywood,
funny.
get in here. Go ahead.
There's no reason to clarify what he said. He exactly somewhat meant what he said, but okay, Area 51, they don't house any of the stuff. Maybe Area 52, though. Okay. It's semantics. I don't know.
Hey.
And then also...
Just want to say it. I voted for him twice. Actually, 3 times, including the primaries that he was in. And I've also voted for Trump 3 times. Where does that put me? I'm in the middle here.
He said he saw no evidence during his presidency that extraterrestrials have made contact.
No, he said here. Let's play it back again.
Well, the second statement.
Just hold on a second. Let's play this part.
Aliens real.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51.
Right. So there you go. They've already talked about this conversation. They've already had this conversation. The host already knows how they dealt with this because they talked through this before they went through it. They're real, but they're not in Area 51. Unless there is this big conspiracy out there that they've kept the information from the president. And that opens the door saying, well, maybe there is a big conspiracy about some of the stuff that they're not telling the president. Maybe they're telling the president that, yes, they're real, but they're not telling him potentially what's at some of these dark sites because what is it called, Mike? The need to know?
Yes, you have to have not only top security clearance, you also need a need to know authorization to access that information, or you won't hear shit. I don't care what clearance level you're at. They have it set up that way so you can't stumble into it accidentally.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I would imagine the president of the United States would have a need to know. So Obama, if he wanted to, and he said when they asked him, what was the first thing you wanted to know when you took office? Oh, I want to know where the aliens are. He said it.
Yeah.
So we know he asked.
That was the same thing Carter wanted to know.
Yeah, it was. And Reagan.
Yep. Mm-hmm. On that note, I am starting to pull for the audience to figure out where they're going to go ahead and land with this. Did I spell it wrong? Yeah, screw with it. Deal with it. I mistyped it. That's fine. Aliens are real. And our audience is saying, hell yeah. No. With 26 votes in, Mike, we're already at 95% of our audience is saying hell yeah. Because you know what? Majority of our audience, including Sharky, do you think aliens are real?
Absolutely. It's plausible deniability. That's what Obama's doing right now. Plausible deniability, saying at one hand they exist, and then totally backtracking.
No, well, he said they exist. The comment got out there in the public. They didn't take it down. But they made him go ahead and do a retraction. And I'm going to blame that on our dear lady Susan Gough or someone in the federal government saying, you just created a national security incident. And because of that, you have to give a retraction. Otherwise, we are going to charge you with whatever it would be. But
Susan Gough reminds me of Will Ferrell playing Janet Reno.
Oh God, no.
On SNL. Anyway, no, it's plausible deniability. That's all I have to say on that. That's absolutely what he did.
Yeah.
You know.
At least we got something out of him. So if now Trump comes out and says they're real, we now have one president that aligns to the people in the center and to the right, and someone who aligns with people to the left and the far left. And that can kind of, if you want to call it, bring people together. Daryl, your hand is up, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, and even if he doesn't come right out, where is the intestinal fortitude of the press? What are they not going to ask? Obama said aliens are real. Has the current president, has Trump seen or heard or believe in aliens? Is anybody going to ask the question?
Well, Daryl, we also know that former President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle purchased the rights to the Benny and Barney Hill story.
However,
that they want to produce.
They're still sitting on it. There is no script. There is no production put together on it. They bought a license to the Betty and Barney Hill story, but they haven't done anything with it. So, yes, they have that as an option for them to work with, but it's not like they're trying to promote a storyline on something that they have in production at this point in time.
To promote it. So that statement he made wasn't to promote the rights that he's in possession
not at all.
of.
I wouldn't think it is.
No, I agree. That's a very good point.
All right.
That also tells us that he and his wife, Michelle, are well aware of the abduction story that took place with Benny and Barney Hill. So as a former sitting president, he knows about that part of American history and that it actually happened. It's a true story.
And he says right there that there's a low chance of them coming this far. So that tells you right there he doesn't even believe the story that he bought.
Yeah. So if I want to bring this up, I don't think we've had anything this high before, Mike, in the past. Aliens are real. 93% of our offices is saying, hell yeah. And only 7% of our audience is saying no on that note. I want to go ahead and bring up another poll on this one. Obama's walk back.
You mean Susan Gough's walk back, more than likely.
The pension department.
All right, here we go. Our next survey we have up. Obama's walk back. Is it coincidental, or is it Susan's walk back?
Oh, definitely Susan.
There we go. 83% as a vote start coming in from audience. Hey, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds, please. Sorry, Daryl. Okay, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds, please.
Sure. 1 minute and 30 seconds. And we're starting now.
Yeah. Well, this is just a timer, Daryl.
It didn't work. I think it's getting more and more sophisticated.
Well, good.
Yeah.
All right. So with just 1 minute and 16 seconds going, you know what? Our audience is a little bit more skeptical on this point. They're going ahead and saying, with 22% of our audience is saying it's coincidental. However, 78%, 77 to 78% of our audience, an overwhelming majority, is saying that it's Susan's walk back. And that's why I put it on the title card, folks, because that's how I see it. He made a national security incident, and he had to address it in a way to kind of put the genie back in the bottle a little bit, but he already said it, didn't he, Mike? Mikey.
No, you're absolutely right. No, that's what it is. We know Susan Gough, who has been handling this particular topic on behalf of the U.S. government through 4 presidential administrations on both sides of the aisle for over 16 years. This woman is not going to let the statement that he made in that interview stand at face value. No way in hell.
No. Hell no.
Is coming from her. Right.
She's like, all the work I've done, you had to get out there and say that? Yeah, right. He did.
Right. Yep. Yeah, this has got her all over it.
Well, if you look at our timer, we've gone for 1 minute and 30 seconds, and we've been in our rapid round. of questions, 78% of our audience is saying yes.
Because it is.
Obama's walk back is actually Susan's walk back. So let me go ahead and end this poll, bring it out of here. Here we go, folks. You voted for it. Are aliens real? Actually, that's not it. Where the fuck did the other one go? I just took a screenshot. Here we go. All right. Wrong one. Ring it around. All right. Obama's walk back. 22% saying it's coincidental. Coming from the audience saying Obama's walk back is actually Susan's walk back is 78%. And someone was in the audience saying 100%. I have to agree with him, Mike.
Yeah,
Mikey.
I agree with him too.
Yeah. Got to ask Mikey because Mikey doesn't like anything.
No. Nothing to do with Susan Gough, I don't.
Oh, God, no.
But you would not eat a Susan Gough cereal.
No.
No, I need to change. I actually had suggested we'll change out that icon to Mikey from the Life cereal box in the 70s.
Yep. That was a good commercial.
Oh, God, yeah. A lot of good stuff back in those days. Oh, God. I bring up Susan Gough, and the husky starts whining. I think that's a sign, Mike.
Yeah. It's one bitch recognizing another one.
Ooh. Come here, Mocha. Come on. Want a cookie? Nothing. All right, getting back to UFO disclosure where things are going on, it's like there's a lot of stuff not happening right now. I think this thing that actually, you know what? Hold on. So we got a question here. This is in Chrome. This is supposed to be in Brave. Hold on. I need to change browsers, otherwise no one's going to be able to hear shit. They're going to say, Thomas, I can't hear anything. Let's get to this. So rewind the clocks of time. This is going back during the last election cycle. And Trump is going to be asked about
I'm not a big alien.
aliens. Let's see what he says.
Are aliens real?
You don't talk about aliens. much.
I'm not a big alien person. I got enough things going without worrying about it. But
There we go. I have enough things going without worrying about it. Do you think this could be a reason why he hasn't been addressing it yet? Because there's so many bullshit things going on in this country that needs to get fixed first, unless we need a good distraction. Hey, Mikey?
Yeah. No, a distraction. This would be an ideal distraction for anybody that's looking to move off of the Epstein files. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on.
Epstein files, ICE, all that kind of stuff of all the things that the people voted for. How about voter ID? But overwhelmingly, Dems and Republicans all want voter ID, except those in office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would just add what his response says to me is that he doesn't believe in aliens. And so if you try to throw any evidence of that at him, he'll be like, oh, that's really interesting. It's really interesting. But he's not going to believe it. It's like, he's like my dad. He's about the same age. I think these 80-year-old people are way harder to convince that you should even pay attention to it.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's play a little bit more. I'll tell you what.
Without worrying about it. But I'll tell you what, you have a lot of smart people that think that, there happens to be a certain site that's the number one most visited site in the whole country,
Oh, and here he comes out talking about specifically this site, Area 51, that Obama just went and debunked.
What's that?
Where they think the aliens come down and...
I haven't been on that.
I'll tell you about it after the show. Are aliens real?
You don't talk about aliens.
I'll talk to you about it after the show. In other words, I can talk to you about it off camera, but not for everybody to see.
You're basically going to have to walk an alien into the White House in order for this guy to believe they're real. That's my opinion. And I voted for Trump 3 times.
All right, I guess we need to go ahead and take him down to the freezers at down at NASA. God, which one is that?
Like Nixon and what was it?
Jackie Gleason. Yeah. God, Who doesn't like Jackie Gleason?
Yeah. Hard not to like.
You know, anyone who doesn't like Jackie Gleason, I say deport him.
Can't be American.
I'm joking, my friends. I'm joking. Well, not seriously, but I'm joking. All right, let's see where else we're at here. Oh, God, I got some good bookmarks for us to go ahead and cover other things that happen that's going out in the world. All right.
It is
30 seconds clip, folks. We're playing both sides of the card here. Some real intelligence is about to come to all of us. Let's hear how she talks about Venezuela.
You know, we look at what happened in Venezuela, for example. It is not a it is not a remark on who Maduro was as a leader. He canceled elections. He was an anti-democratic leader. That doesn't mean that we can kidnap a head of state and engage in acts of war just because the nation is below the equator.
Oh, wait a minute. She just said Venezuela is below the equator, and that's why we invaded them. I'm sorry. It's just one of those things you go ahead and say. And people freaking clap. What the fuck? Oh my God, look at those schmucks.
You know,
all right, let's get past this. Go on to the next one that I have. No, we're not going to cover that one. There we got Susan Gough looking for her. All right, billionaire of a Hyatt Hotels chair, Tom Pritzker. He happens to be the cousin of J.B. Pritzker, who's the governor of good old state of Illinois, has resigned as the chairman of the board from Hyatt Hotels. Whoops. Someone made a mistake over at Epstein Island. All right. Getting into ancientology. There are so many things that come from the ancient Sumerians documenting the gods who came from the sky, right? And it shows us how big that the gods who came from the sky were compared to humans. Here's a regular human. Here's a giant. So if a human was like 6 foot, we're talking like 12 to 14 feet in height. For reference, we have a human here and a date palm, but here we have supposedly. Now, I guess it comes down to the question. Were they just making this shit up when they were going ahead and creating these slides, Daryl? Or do you think it's something they were actually recording history of what was taking place at that time?
I don't know, but if you put a ski mask on the one that's bending over, anyway, no, I have no clue what they were thinking. If the little guy, if they're supposed to be like, we're feeding the little people, so they made them like little people, or
well, that's humans. But if you look at the size of the human that they have in here, to the date palm tree, that's about accurate for the human size to the actual tree. But there's these other entities who were here before the last global flood that weren't there. Either way, you never know where it's going to go. What else we've got going? All right. So we talk about robots, right, Daryl? We talk about what's going on with Elon Musk and his new Optimus Prime robot that he's putting together to go ahead and help humans around the houses and everything. I have a feeling that China has a different agenda for robots. More lines of Terminator style stuff, if you ask me. This is just a 1 minute. I'm going to turn off the audio on this one. 1 minute 12 clip showing what their new robots are capable of. And it's not just walking around and falling over. No. They've taught them full martial arts. And people can say this is totally scripted for the AI, for what's running in the platform. Either way, what they've demonstrated is they've got a platform with unbelievable performance that kicks ass and puts China at the top of the game. Well, you do have stuff going on in South Korea. from something's from Hyundai, but this is just amazing. And these aren't like one-off robots. These are things that they're going and creating. Let's call it off-the-shelf Terminators, because look at the capabilities of this stuff, Daryl. It's not like they're just walking around and stumbling and falling apart. They're doing unbelievable acrobatics.
Yeah, when I buy my robot, it's not going to be doing acrobatics. But this reminds me of Indiana Jones, where, you know, the guy's doing all of his maneuvers and stuff, and Indiana Jones pulls out the gun and shoots him dead. I mean, I guess you got to make these things bulletproof to some extent, right? But
there's that one. I thought I had another one. Here we go.
It would depend on what type of a gun you're using. No matter how bulletproof it is, it's not indestructible. Though.
All right. Now, here's an example. Below, on the bottom part of the screen, this is the technology they had in 2025. A year later, in 2026, this is where they've taken the technology to. So you can see the ones on the bottom. They're more just kind of like flapping their arms in the air with pom-poms like they're cheerleaders. Now watch the stuff that goes on the top. It's amazing where the technology has gone, how much it's evolved in a freaking year. In a year. You know, they talk about the singularity, where at a certain time we get to a point where time and technology evolves at a similar rate, almost a 1-to-1. From what we're seeing here from 1 year, from 2025 to 2026, it almost seems like a 2 or 3-to-1. Daryl, I see you watching this intently. What are your thoughts?
I didn't know you could see me watching intently. My thoughts are that I think Elon Musk said the wars of the future will be fought by drones. And these are essentially walking drones. You know, they're autonomous to some extent, but still under guy. It's just, it's a weird future.
Yeah.
we have coming up.
I mean, look at them, you know, hitting a board like they're gymnasts. Flipping in the air, going multiple times over. We don't know about battery life and everything for what's going on, but what they've got going on is none less than amazing. And I guess this is really our future. I guess, Daryl, we're not getting flying cars before we're getting robots.
Well, if you have a robot that has AI built into it, it can essentially make you the flying car. So that... It's like your own 3D printer going apeshit. I mean, essentially, you go out in the backyard, dig up sand, make glass. I mean, all the components. Even Musk said this. He said essentially anything you want to create or have in the future, your robot should be able to go out and make it.
Yeah. I mean, this is just amazing. And if I get to this next one, this is the full show they've got down. Oh my God! Is it like that robot that got hit someone's fake
feet already?
Yeah.
At this point,
and we keep on talking about this relative to what we're dealing with here is a potential Terminator scenario. Why are they building the robots? You know, Elon Musk talk about the hands and all the different stuff they can do based on what they've been putting together to create the hands and how much dexterity they need. All they need to be able to do is carry a weapon and be able to duck and get around stuff and just take out humans as necessary.
Well, if they're bulletproof, and initially they will be, even the Cybertruck is bulletproof at this point.
Yeah,
they could walk right up to humans, even with a gun, and have no problem in taking them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're already in trouble.
But, you know, it kind of shows us potentially where where humanity is heading towards.
Yeah. There's not going to be soldiers on the battlefield anymore. There's going to be machines like this.
Yeah. All right. So a couple additional things here. I've got a bunch of clips out there. Let me go ahead and bring this up next. Where is this at? That's not Thomas. All right. So, yeah, there's been a lot of Aurora Borealis going on for the last couple days. well, last week for that matter, if not more. And this is up in Canada, coming from Jeremy Rand. Great shots he was getting from Absolute last night. Great stuff all around. But I want to show this one. We've got this new technology called Sea Dance I brought up before. Hollywood is freaked out about it. Disney has put out cease and desist. Paramount has put out cease and desist. We have the MPAA, the Motion Picture Association of America. You have the Actors Guild. Everybody else is going crazy because of this new platform that was created that is basically, Mike, going to put a shit ton of people in Hollywood out of work. The visual effects this platform can create from a starting picture and ending picture. Let's watch this one. It's for a new 3D game. It just gets better and better. It creates the music, it creates the visuals, it creates the effects. You give it a little scene-by-scene description, and voila. And it creates it in seconds. Yeah, Hollywood's fucked. Let's just go ahead and say that. This is just about done. What else we've got going here? We just saw the robots compared. Again, some more shots of the Aurora Borealis coming from Jeremy Rand last night up in Canada. Unbelievable stuff. We want to thank all of our friends up in Canada for dealing with the bullshit up there and trying to bring us some truth about what's really going on. All right. This is an unfortunate fact. A Canadian business owner who was visiting Portland, Oregon for the first time says thieves stripped his van and stole nearly $20,000 worth of fishing tackle merchandise. Jeff Long, president of West Coast Fishing Tackle, said thieves stole his van's catalytic converter and battery, cut the fuel line, and took the fuel. All the merchandise inside was taken, leaving only empty boxes.
Inside had been stolen and the van had been stripped for parts. Owner Jeff Leong says there was about $20,000 worth of product inside the van when it was stolen from the parking lot of Fairfield Inn and Suites. The Canadian business was visiting town for the Sportsman Show this weekend at the Expo Center.
It's definitely going to impact our business, and this is financed by me personally, so that's a hardship to us.
Yeah, people are getting screwed because of what's going on. All right. This one hits home. 2015, a doctor received a 45-year prison sentence for deliberately misdiagnosing more than 500 patients with cancer. This guy deserves life in prison, allowing him to collect over $17 million administering unnecessary chemotherapy to patients. We're all getting older. We all deal with this kind of stuff. This is kind of bullshit, but to hear this kind of stuff is going on, this guy needs to be locked up and freaking given the death penalty for the horrible things he has done to patients.
A Michigan doctor sentenced being called a monster. A day of reckoning for the doctor who diagnosed hundreds of patients with cancer when they did not have it. Outside the court, the tears and anger. He lied to so many patients, giving many of them extensive chemotherapy, which then made them sick. So many of those families today coming face to face with the doctor as he was sentenced to 45 years behind bars.
That's it?
And you're about to hear what the doctor said.
They should have fucking given him life. Think about the lives he took away from so many people that didn't have cancer that he wanted to fucking cash in on.
Said to those families. ABC's Ron Claiborne leads us off.
Judgment Day for the doctor who caused so much pain. Victims of Dr. Farid Fatah outside the courtroom where he was sentenced, hand in hand, then defiant.
45 years for the lives that he took. it just wasn't enough.
In court, the 50-year-old doctor breaking down, saying, I misused my talents, yes, and permitted this sin to enter me because of power and greed. But those words no comfort for Cheryl Blades.
I could hear him talking to my mother because I went to every appointment. So I could hear him talking to her and promising her to save her.
In all, Fata pleaded guilty to intentionally misdiagnosing more than 550
Holy
patients,
shit.
often prescribing treatment for cancer that they did not have. He earned more than $17 million as a result.
Dr. Fata pounced on every opportunity to use a patient's body as a profit center.
One of the patients, 53-year-old Monica Flagg.
Stressful. It was extremely emotional.
In 2013, Dr. Fata told her she had cancer.
He finally said, it is no longer smoldering, you have full-blown cancer.
She later learned from another doctor she was perfectly healthy.
I did one chemo treatment. The others did so many that they're practically dead anyway.
This is just awful. And the question so many had, wasn't there anyone else in the doctor's office looking at those charts, those tests to know these people were healthy? In
well,
Michigan.
Either way, it's a horrible thing. Meanwhile, in Maine, on Valentine's Day, some beautiful aurora borealis. All right. Sad news for friends in the United Kingdom. From Basil the Great over on X. Our people will become the minority in our own country by 2063. Reform UK deputy leader says, so what? I'll be dead by then. So stop asking why they're backing Restore Britain and start asking why you're still backing reform. Interesting thing to say. We've got another clip on this one that United Kingdom is currently going ahead and calling out anybody who is talking like in Reform or Restore UK. They're calling them out as right-wing terrorists because they don't agree with Labor. It's absolutely disgusting. Let's play this clip. Yeah, and it's actually worse what's going on with Canada, my friends. And the biggest thing we have to learn from this is the shit the left is going to try and bring to the United States if they get into the midterms and they get in the next election. We are screwed, my friends. Let's play this.
And he predicts that by 2063, Britain will be minority white British. Is that a concern of yours at all?
Yeah, I don't think that's I haven't seen those predictions, and 2063 is a long way off. But
it's a few decades.
Yeah, it's a few decades. Well, it's I'm trying to do the maths quickly in my head.
Oh. Somehow that lost. Hold on. Here we go. Well, that's not that one.
Predicts that few decades.
Yeah, it's a few decades. Well, it's I'm trying to do the maths quickly in my head, but it's in most people. I'll be long gone. Put it like that.
And he predicts that by 2063.
Yeah, sad times for what's going on in the United Kingdom these days. But there was a win for the United Kingdom. If we talked about this earlier, last couple of weeks. There was a situation where, if you want to call it, 4.6 million people were going to get their rights to take and rights to vote in their next election coming up in May. The elections were all canceled by their current leader, Keir Starmer. However, Nigel Farage from the Reform Party challenged them in court. We took the Labour government to court and they won. So they were trying to take away the voting rights for 4.6 million people coming up in local council elections. You don't need to vote. We're just going to do what we need to do. So in collusion with the Tories, Keir Starmer tried to stop people from voting on May 7th. Only Reform UK fights for democracy, and coming from the government legal department, they turned that shit down and they said, no, the voters in that area deserve the right to vote. My God, Mike, they're taking away people's right to vote now. What are they going to do next? They're already locking up people for social media statements.
It's beginning to sound a lot like China or a third world country over there with how they're depriving their own citizens of democracy and freedom.
You know, they want to call out Trump as being a fascist, but this authoritarianism like we saw under Biden, like we're seeing in the UK, we're seeing across Europe, we're seeing up in Canada. We've got some stuff about Canada to go ahead and cover. It's spreading. And that's the shit we're going to get into Oh, Kelly, you know what? Daryl, do you need a ID to drive your car?
Yes.
Do you need an ID to buy booze?
Yep.
Do you need an ID to get on a plane?
Yeah.
Do you need an ID to go to Canada and come back?
Yep.
So what's the whole problem with people saying that, oh my God, you don't need an ID to vote? It sounds like they're trying to rig the elections.
If those people don't have ID, they probably aren't going to vote anyway. Honestly. And I just want to say, I like Mike's comment. It's beginning to look a lot like China.
Yeah.
It's beginning to look a lot like China. Everywhere we go.
You can just hear it with a UK accent and people singing in the street.
Canadian accent as well. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, let's move on. What else we have going on here? Get past Rubio. We got Obama. We've covered him. All right. Carney is saying the quiet part. No, he won't call off all elections, Kelly. No. That's not going to happen. Elections are going to happen. We're going to go on for where we're at. We're just going to have honest and clean elections. That's what we need, period. We need clean elections. Enough of this bullshit. So, all right. Mark Carney says Canada is ready to limit free speech in his country, citing racism and Islamophobia as the reason. Yikes. This is, he's saying the quiet part out loud, and this is the playbook that the far left wants to bring to our country. Remember, they had censored all of the social media platforms under Biden. Every single one of them was all censored. Oh, you're going against the government. You can't say that. We're going against... You saw all the different stuff that went on. Let's play this. This is just disgusting, my friends.
Large American online platforms have become seas of racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and hate in all its forms. And they're being used by criminals to harm our children.
What?
Anti-Semitism, American online platforms.
So American online platforms. Mikey, what platform do you think he's talking about?
YouTube, X, Instagram,
Facebook,
Roblox, all the social media platforms that people will go on. And he wants to silence them.
That is authoritarian, completely. It's like 1984.
Yeah. No, that's definitely the wrong approach, and I can't imagine anybody would want to support or back that.
All right, so let's.
Russia just did it. Yeah.
Who?
Russia.
Oh, Russia's been fucked for the longest time, Syrup. They've had fake elections going on there for a while, but let's play this. Here we go.
Large American online platforms have become...
So they're demonizing Americans.
Seas of racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia.
There's a lot there.
Misogyny, anti-Semitism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, seas of racism,
racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism. They hate the Jews. Islamophobia. We hate the... It wouldn't be so much Islamophobia if they would come over here and just integrate with our society like everybody else has. And going ahead and saying things about what's going on. Oh my God, they want to call it Islamophobia immediately. No, we're not Islamophobia. We're just talking about what's going on around us.
And hate.
And hate. Oh, they're going against the anti-trans movement. Are you still with me, Tia? Tia. My dear lady, Tia, Maria.
There she is. She's coming in now. Here she is.
There she is, Tia.
Hey, sorry.
I'm gay, and I have a husband. You're a lesbian. You've got a wife, right?
I do.
We're the LGBs.
That's right.
And the TQIA++ can kind of screw off at this point. We're tired of them.
Divorced.
Yeah, they're fucking crazy, aren't they?
Yeah, and it wasn't amicable. Let me just say.
Yeah. Absolutely. So hate. We don't hate people who are part of, if you want to call it the whole trans and the QIA++, whatever they're in and the whole thing. That's fine. They can do what they want, but they have such a negative spin that's going against the establishment that's there. We don't want to be a part of it because they're fucking crazy.
That's right. And, they lost the plot because we didn't want special rules and attention, and we just wanted to be left alone so that we can love who we wanted to love. We didn't want all this extra shit. And now, because of them doing that, they've actually caused us to go back years, because now people are looking at us like, oh, well, maybe they are like that. Maybe we, and it's not us. And I don't even think, dare I say, it's not politically correct, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think that a lot of it is manipulation by parents, teachers, whatever, for their political view.
You know what's crazy in Washington State? If a kid wants to go ahead and start using an alternate name and alternate persona at school, the school cannot legally tell the parents what's going on.
Yep.
If a child who goes to a doctor, I think it's like either age 12 or 14, and they don't want the parent in the doctor's office when in the room when the child's being examined, they will kick the parent out.
Yeah, they will. Yes, they will. So it's up to us to make sure that it doesn't go any further. There's so many kids that are coming forward now that had started taking them medications, or that actually went through the surgery, who are like, wait a minute, I was just a tomboy, or I was just a little feminine. This is not what I wanted. And now look at their bodies are completely, they're sterile. They will never have a sexual relationship. And that's important for human beings.
Yeah.
For any, so we have to just make sure that these kind of people don't get back into power. It's not even a left-right thing. These are our kids. They can't drive until they're 16. They can't drink until they're 21 here in America, right? They can't do a lot of things. They can't join the military until they're 18. Why are you going to allow them to destroy their bodies, okay, before they're old enough to make that decision?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And they did a study, right, in the UK.
Run forth the T. I need to hit the head. I'll be right back. Go ahead and continue for a minute.
Okay. Andy, you probably know pretty good too about this. When they did that study about kids that were trans, and they did a study that a lot of it was manipulation, and it was like less than 1% of people had the body what is it called? Dysmorphia. Yep. And that having them do that and taking them kinds of drugs actually makes it worse, because they fixate on something different after that. And it just continues to spiral. And we see that in society a lot with Hollywood actors, like that went and did their faces, with the surgery, and they don't even look human anymore. So that's what we're producing. And then we have the violence part that is showing up in these kids because they're taking drugs they shouldn't be taking.
Hormones. They're taking hormones to you.
Yeah, and they're dangerous. Just because you have them in your body doesn't mean that you should be that you should be taking more of what you're not supposed to be taking. Women, estrogen drives women crazy. I can't believe what they think it's going to do to a man. It's not, we weren't built for that. Yeah. So it's causing a lot of problems.
Tia, I have to say, one of the things that I've been seeing more lately than not, all the different shooters that have been going on, majority of them are all men who have been taking estrogen, and they can't deal with it. And it just really screws up their mind, because you know what? If you want to call it, all babies start as female.
Yeah.
But then depending on what's going on, some will go ahead and convert to male. Going ahead and taking women and giving them testosterone has a much less traumatic effect on the human being versus taking someone who went through that transition in the womb, turning into a man, and then putting them back onto estrogen. It makes them fucking crazy.
Absolutely. Look what it does to us women when we start going through menopause. Not even being funny, but some women really do. They lose it. they lose it. So it's just shit we shouldn't be messing with. I don't even know how it got this far. I look at it and I'm just, as a parent, okay, as a gay woman,
as a human.
Yeah, I can't believe that we have allowed this to happen. And then, the rest of the world is looking at us like we're insane because we're stopping this shit. And President Trump, I mean, he's done a lot of good when it comes down to kids. Look at all these kids he's found that were trafficked in the United States. We're not even talking about that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we should be talking about.
Right.
So I think we're all starting to wake up, though. I really do think that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I appreciate your insight on this, Tia. I know this is something we're close to the line with. There's just a lot of bullshit going on out there, but it's good to have people who are kind of centered in this, in the situation where we're at, to kind of talk about the crazies that are around us and say, no, we don't want to be a part of that.
Well, listen, people that are really that got the TDS, I understand you don't have to like him, but Obama, Hillary Clinton, all of the left's, big dogs have come out and said it went too far. It went too far, and we will never win an election if we do not bring it back. We have to keep our people safe because they are seeing now that citizens are starting to rebel. The United States, we can argue amongst each other, but the United States is going to defend each other. And that's something that a lot of countries do not have.
Yeah. One thing I want to bring up is we just had a comment in the chat from Sally Forth, who went and said, y'all against gender surgery? Are you against cosmetic enhancements as well? There's a hormonal birth control. No issues painting your face to appear more feminine. I see. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about them going ahead. Yeah, we're against gender surgery. Are we against people who want to get bigger tits or something like that, or want to get Botox or huge their lips? No, they can do whatever they want. We're talking about people who are not, I guess. Wow. But the thing is, we're not talking about people who are cosmetically doing this. They're doing that because they feel and they think that they're a different gender. They have gender dysphoria, and they're trying to go from one to the other, and they're trying to promise them something that they'll never achieve.
That's right. And it's okay. I can go get my boobs done. I have to be 18 years old to go get my boobs done. And by the way, I have to pay for that my own self. Okay. So women are getting the shit under the stick because you guys, men can go and well, not just men, but you guys can go and get boobs and all of these, things. Women, real women, we got to pay for that shit, by the way. That's number one. And we got to be 18. And there is no hormones when I go and I get my boobs done. I'm not going and getting testosterone. There is a big difference. And I don't care what adults do to their body. I don't care. But I care what we're doing to our kids.
Yeah. We're selling them something that can't be delivered.
That's right. And it's sexual. I don't think people understand because normal people don't have that thought about children being sexualized. But I'm telling you. Okay?
Oh, look at the times that they have all those beauty contests for those 4-year-olds and the toddlers, and they're over sexualizing them. Is that coming up these days? Is something that's horrible that needs to be stopped? No, it's continuing.
Absolutely. Having drag in kindergarten, we're going in the wrong direction. And I understand everybody has their own rights. I get it. I'm American. I do believe that.
But trying to take certain things like that, drag story time at the local library, honestly, they come across looking like clowns.
They do. And then they make the drag community, the real drag community that has been fighting from day one for this. They make them look bad because they're not part of.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I know a lot of drag queens, okay? And they are amazing. They're not down with that. I don't know many that are, okay? There's certain types that are, and I'm sorry, Thomas, but a lot of them seem to have shady backgrounds with sexual assaults. A lot of them do. Not trans people in general or transvestites in general, but the ones that are pushing for the kids. Usually they're still men, and they're like, oh hell no, you're not messing with kids. Oh no, they would die to protect a kid.
Yeah, of course you need to.
Different kind of person that we all collectively as adults should really be watching out for. And now we really know better now. I think we know. And using some of this shit as a I got you or a one up, you're not going to get that. Oh, you can get a boob job. Yeah, I can get a boob job. And it's not going to affect my estrogen, my testosterone. And I'm not coming and shooting up a school because my mind is crazy.
Right.
It's different. It is very different. And the people that are pushing that know very well. I'm sorry, but I think a lot of it too is that people that want to be a part of something, they jump on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and they don't even think about the consequences of the last thing that they jumped on.
Yeah.
Like body dysphoria is a real thing.
And if it's something, deal with it. Help the people understand it. Don't go ahead and maim them for the rest of their lives.
Right, because they're going to go ahead and do something different. Like it is a disease. So
yeah, exactly. If I can, thank you very much for the tea. That's something we're going to be covering as time goes on. I appreciate your insight on this. You're a phenomenal resource. Thank you for everything you had to say.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, one last thing I want to go ahead and cover. Going back to the UK, the UK government is now labeling cultural nationalism as terrorism. They're literally teaching that worrying Western culture is under threat from mass migration is terrorist ideology, not controversial terrorism. Meanwhile, their own data shows 80% of active terror investigations are Islamic threats, despite Muslims being only 6.5% of the population, yet prevent waste resources hunting ordinary citizens with legitimate concerns instead of focusing on the real danger. What is the UK government saying? Terrorist ideologies. Extreme right wing. We define extreme right wing terrorism as the active or vocal support of ideologies that advocate discrimination or violence against minority groups. The three most common subcategories of extreme right wing terrorist ideologies and their narratives are cultural nationalism, meaning Western culture, meaning United Kingdom, is under threat from mass migration, which it is, and a lack of integration by certain ethnic and cultural groups. Right, they are moving to the UK. They are not integrating with the society. They're creating their own subculture. They don't want to have anything to do with the UK. They want their particular lifestyle, but now in the UK, and everything to be protected. The other thing they're calling is white ethno-nationalism, mass migration of the non-white world, and demographic challenges pose an existential threat to the white race and Western culture. That's not things that I've even heard. White supremacism, the white race is biologically and culturally superior to all the races. I have not heard that on one thing at all coming from the United Kingdom. Tia.
It sounds like they just want all-out war with the United States. That's what it sounds like.
But no, this is going on in their own country. We have the Reform Party who's talking about that, and now we have another new party that's come together to go ahead and bring it back to that. And they're talking about that. Let's see if I can find.
Did you hear about Mark Rubio's speech? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard about his speech. More importantly, I also heard about him going and basically talking about bringing, what is it, U.S. nuclear power, was it to Hungary or somewhere like that, over in Eastern Europe, where they've been shut down, and all the particular... let me get this back to here. All the different ways they have generating from energy is all dependent on either natural gas from the United States or oil from Russia. We're actually working with some of the countries over in Eastern Europe to break that independence and to go ahead and use nuclear power plants like from Westinghouse, etc., to go ahead and generate the energy they need.
Good, because they're talking about racism. They're the racists. They're so stuck in this weird ass hate train And a lot of it has been like even Canada, put right at the United States. And I'm sorry, but the United States, I don't know how much more of the United States is going to be able to take. They need to take that lady, the head of whoever European Union, and get rid of her. She's doing a disservice to her people. She really is.
But the people in the EU, the unelected bureaucrats, love her and what they're trying to do. I mean, they're actually just going ahead and passing a bunch of laws now in the EU, respective to go ahead and make any trans woman who basically is a man to have all the same rights as a woman, which we've been fighting against here in the United States.
That's my point. But the people don't want that. The people don't want that. They don't want that. They want normalcy. They want stability. They want to be proud of who they are. And why is it that it's only white people that have to be apologetic and not be proud of who they are? Who in the hell do all these people think that they are? I don't understand. Every race at one point or another was a slave. Every single country has been invaded over and over again. When the British got here, or the Spaniards, the Indians, right? They took land. They were tribes. They were killing each other. I don't understand why white people why is this happening?
Because we're the bad folks, my friend.
No,
apparently.
we're not.
I know.
We need to stand up and really start defending ourselves, because this bullshit has to end, because I'm telling you, bad things are going to happen if good people don't stand up. Men, real good men, have got to get up and start fighting for what is right, and not what is
good men and women.
Yeah.
There's a whole culture out there, right? There's a whole culture out there that believes there's no such thing as racism towards white people, that it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, look at
there's racism against all races, really.
It is. Yeah, it is. Like every culture, like my great grandparents were Irish when they came over here, and they came over on the Queen Mary. They were not even clad. They were not even citizens. Okay. They had to go down in the mines and stuff like that, because the African slaves were considered a profit, and because they cost money, they were not allowed to do jobs like that. But Irish people, their bodies, they cost nothing. So we all have a bad background. We humans have done terrible shit, but we have also done really amazing shit. Imagine what we can do together if we would stop this shit and get these elected officials that are pushing this shit out. We could do and be so much more.
We're going to examine your face.
Yeah, I hear you.
Sad.
I hear you. I do have one more clip here I want to play of Obama talking about the aliens without necessarily saying it. Let's go ahead and play this clip as well. Here we go. Let's play it. All right, here we go, folks. Hanging out with Jimmy Kimmel.
The aliens won't let it happen. You reveal all their secrets. They exercise strict control over us. Now, there are a lot of people.
All right, the aliens exercise strict control over us.
People that are going to examine your facial expressions here, every twitch, everything, and say, and of course, so did you look? Did you see?
Did he look? Did he see? But he's already giving it out that, God, these are rumors that have been out there for the longest time. Ed, I know you're out there, where the aliens are in control, and they've been exercising a strict control over what we do.
And they're determining how much can be released and at what time.
Right.
They're controlling the narrative.
So in other words, Brock could be potentially controlled by the non-human intelligence.
Or he could just be outright lying, either way.
Oh, God. There we go.
Did you explore?
I can't reveal anything.
Oh, really?
I can't reveal anything. Let's get on a second before we get to Nick.
President Clinton said he did go right in, and he did check, and there was nothing.
Yeah, he was checking the room where Monica was.
that's what we're instructed to say.
That's what we're instructed to say. He laughs about it. The audience laughs about it. But it's like he has the ability to get out there and say, and he's been saying it for a while. I know this is going to be completely off topic and something we may rabbit hole we jump down to. Nick, what say you?
Yes, I agree with you, Tom. But like, did anyone see that Ross Coulthard interview today, which he had other craft fuel operators on?
No, I did not see that one. What was your take on it, Nick?
It was pretty amazing because he talks about how like a Mexican retrieval team apparently got like dead aliens out of a Mexican church, which is pretty amazing, Thomas.
Okay. Well, we've never heard about this before.
Okay.
And how long ago did this happen?
I think a while ago, actually.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting interview, Thomas.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll have to check it out, Nick. I appreciate your insight on that one. All right. All right. We've all seen this shit going on.
This stuff is in these.
Okay, we've all seen this shit going on out there of everything about Epstein. Our dear friend Tim Burchett, who we miss so much, who should have come out and said, see, Obama said it, it's real. It's a cover-up. We didn't get shit from him. So let's go ahead and play this late clip talking about the satanic from the pits of hell, torture, cannibalism, removing kids' teeth. Coming from dear Timmy, talking about the shit that's been going on with the Epstein stuff. Next, we've got a bombshell revelation coming from our friends up in Canada who said, we've had enough. Let's play this one.
This stuff that is in these files makes all that pale in comparison. And if you're offered an opportunity to view the pictures or read the files, this stuff that is in these files makes all that pale in comparison. And if you're offered an opportunity to view the pictures or read the files, I would seriously.
He's at a loss for words. Mike, when's the last time you heard Tim Burchett at a loss for words?
Never, Thomas.
No.
No. This is something that's impacting him in a big way, it seems like.
Yeah.
I would seriously consider not doing that.
Yeah.
Because it will haunt you, this stuff that's in there. And here's the problem.
Meaning once you see it, you can never unsee it again.
The Biden administration, the Obama administration, these files have been out there forever.
That's true. Biden, Obama, Trump, they've all had the opportunity to bring this shit forward. Hell, we've had many times when the Dems have been in complete control and they didn't do shit to bring it forward. Yeah, it's a mess. It's a huge mess. A lot of people with a shit fuck ton of money all the way to the tippy top of shut fuck mountain. And they have no more fucks to shut the fuck up about, but my God.
Forever. And I've said this many times. If they had the goods on Trump, you know that the Obama administration / the Biden administration, because it never really changed hands. They would have had that stuff out there. And this stuff just goes so deep, Benny, and it is very disgusting to me. And, it's evil, it's satanic, and it's from the pits of hell, and that's where these people will end up.
Yeah, and while some of this stuff isn't as bad as, what's going on there, remember, we are dealing with the rape gangs that are going on in the United Kingdom right now. Granted, the levels of torture and other stuff that happen with this stuff, with Epstein is not there. This stuff is happening now and today, and it's not stopping and going away because it's basically government-sponsored terrorism against the indigenous population. Is that a good way to put it, Mike?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Thomas. That seems to be under government sanction, what's going on over in the UK.
Yeah.
Disgusting, like Tim said.
Yeah, and we got this shit, you know what? Take all the people who are guilty on this stuff, fucking lock them up and throw away the key. Period. Or you know what?
Never see the light of day.
Right. You know what, Mike? And it's been a while since we've used the death penalty. I think it's appropriate at this point.
Some of these crimes deserve it.
Yeah, they do.
But are they gonna do that over there in the UK? Probably
Well, let's do it in the United States. If this is what's going on, we have people who have done this stuff. They've eaten people. They've killed babies. They've done all this horrible stuff, cannibalism, etc. Fucking, let's bring out the gallows. Let's bring out the firing squad again. You know what? And if they can't get the drugs to do it, they can go ahead and buy it on the street, buy all the freaking fentanyl they need on the street and use that to freaking put them down, and don't give them the Narcan. Just saying.
But as long as they've had these Epstein files the entire time, and all of the people who were in the files involved with Epstein and what went on in that island, how many arrests have they made? None.
Yeah.
Nobody has been charged. Nobody has.
No
been
one in the
prosecuted.
United States has been charged in the way they should. All these different people who are in office that are close to them, people who are close in the government. Oh, yeah, I was there with my family. I was there with my wife and kids. Really? What were you doing all the time that you were there? Come on. Tell us the truth.
Well, you want to know the truth? Look into the Bill Gates divorce issue between
God,
him and
yeah.
Melinda Gates. It's all in there with Epstein and that island.
Yeah, everyone wants. I mean, this is the same guy who basically poisoned a high percentage of the world with his vaccines, and he profited off it.
Right, but it was the island and his activities on it that cost him half of his wealth going to Melinda Gates.
You know what we're not seeing? We're not seeing a bunch of people going ahead and boycotting Windows. They should. Because, you know, it's Bill Gates, it's Microsoft. He's all tied to it. Give it up, folks. It's time to go ahead and swing to Apple. At least Tim Cook wasn't there. For that matter. All right, so our next piece coming into it. Yes. In a bombshell elevation that's sending shockwaves through Canada, Alberta separatist lawyer Jeff Rath confirms that he has been in meeting with high-level officials in the Trump administration. He claims U.S. President Donald Trump will recognize Alberta as a sovereign state of Alberta, meaning it's its own country, and they deserve to go that way. They've been taken advantage of by Canada and their socialist policies for too long. You know, I wish them the best.
Can you understand how, on the face of it, Canadians would view, some Canadians outside of the ones that support your cause, who are not necessarily unempathetic to the frustrations expressed by people in this province, but who would view the idea of, you know, people here meeting with a government that has, you know, spoken the way it has about this country as a whole as problematic and seeking money to make this happen.
I understand that there's a lot of Ontarians and people in Quebec that suffer deeply from Trump derangement syndrome, but we're not doing anything untoward. It's absolutely, you know, from our perspective, we're just conducting due diligence on behalf of our fellow
Remember, he is being interviewed by CBC, which is basically the equivalent of NPR, which is government-sponsored television coming from the far left.
Albertans. We're serious professionals. I mean, I've argued cases at the Supreme Court of Canada, for goodness sake. I mean, you know, we take what we're doing very seriously, and obviously the attitude of the United States towards Alberta independence, which incidentally is overwhelmingly enthusiastic, is something that informs our movement going forward. If the United States said, oh God, we can't tolerate that, flies in the face of, you know, the communist New World Order, we'll slap a 300% tariff on Albertans if they leave because we want you to remain resource slaves of the communist government in Ottawa, you know, it would be a totally different conversation. But that's not the case. We're gratified that it's the case. And quite frankly, the Trump administration shows Albertans far more respect than is shown to Albertans by the government in Ottawa. Do you think three of us could get a meeting with Tim Hodgson to talk about the need for a pipeline to the Pacific Northwest so that David Eby can't continue to hold us hostage? Of course not, because they want us to be held hostage. So, you know, so I understand that there are Canadians that are upset, especially in Ontario, that when Alberta leaves, that Ontarians for the first time in their lives are going to have to pay their own bills and pay the bills of the Maritimes that we've been paying for years. I understand that's upsetting to people, but they need to understand that Albertans are done, we're leaving, and there's no more conversation to be had. I know that's upsetting to people.
Do you believe, though, that the motivations of the people you're meeting with or in the Trump administration are altruistic? Like, do you think they want what's good for you and people who support your cause, or do you think that they're trying to leverage this to get the upper hand against the country of Canada as a whole?
I've studied foreign policy at the university level. I have an honors degree in political science, and I have an honors degree in law from the London School of Economics. Don't you think that communist Ottawa is leveraging communist China against Alberta? I mean, come on. I mean, you know, we live in the world of realpolitik.
But you don't mind being a pawn in that fight?
We're not a pawn. I mean, we're talking to them about our aspirations, and we have our goals and objectives. So, you know, we're not a pawn. We're actually more like a rook or a queen on a chessboard, moving forward in the direction that we want to move freely on the board. You know, the pawns are the provincial premiers like Danielle Smith that are being manipulated by Carney and Eby and communist China to do their globalist bidding, you know, as far as I'm concerned.
When you mentioned that you've met with people in the State Department, you feel as though that message has been conveyed to Scott Bessent. That's why he made the comments he did. How high up are the meetings that you're taking? Are there names, for example, of people that you're meeting with that we would recognize offhand?
I'm not sure about that. Probably. I mean, we're meeting at a very high level. People in our meetings are going, you know, direct.
Stephen Miller?
I'm not going to say. I mean,
why not?
We're not, because we're not. We have an agreement with the people that we're meeting with that we're not disclosing the identities of the people that we're meeting with. So
why not? May I ask?
Because it's an agreement. So that's all.
But again, like, would it be reasonable to question the motivations of making that
Well,
agreement?
that's probably why we're not talking about it. We don't want them being bothered by people from the press in Canada asking them silly questions. They don't want to be wasting their time answering questions from the press, right? And we're fine with that. We don't care. I mean, we know already that our meetings are paying dividends when the U.S. Secretary of Treasury is announcing the fact that the U.S. would be open to a pipeline through the Pacific Northwest to take David Eby and Communist China out of control of the Alberta oil field.
May I ask then, in a different way, have there been conversations, you know, among yourself or people in the movement with, for example, as high as President Trump?
No. Well, I mean, I haven't. I'm not sure about David Cameron. He's not really part of our movement and part of what we're doing. He's the leader of the Republican Party of Alberta.
Good night, Kelly.
He claims to have been to Mar-a-Lago and, you know, whatever. You know, we don't need to meet with President Trump. We're really technicians when it comes right down to it, right? At the end of the day, you know, our next delegation to Washington, you know, we're going to have bankers, economists, corporate lawyers, et cetera, to help with this feasibility study that we're conducting, right? And we're going to be putting together, you know, what a potential deal memo could look like and put together a complete dossier so that we can just hand it over to whoever the government of Alberta is in power and say, hey, if Ottawa is giving you a hard time, here's an easy way out. There's a large credit facility that's available through Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan or whoever in the event that Ottawa tries to cut off your money.
You know, one thing I have to go ahead and bring up about this particular situation that's very interesting, at least to me on this particular point, is that in the past we've had it where Quebec went for independence. This is probably about 10 years ago. And there was none of this big pushback like we're seeing going against Alberta like we're getting today. But the reality of it is Quebec is getting ready for independence again right now as well, right, Daryl?
I think so, but the reason why I buzzed in was I'm just wondering if there's any Canadians that can tell us what those things are behind in the background.
The giant phallic statues that no one's writing on?
Just was curious about that, yeah.
I have no idea. Daryl. All right.
Hey, and I don't know. What do they do in Alberta? Maybe we don't want them. I have no idea.
Oh, God, there's a picture I have in here. There's a lot of oil in Alberta. Is it here? Let's see if I can scroll through really quick. I saw it earlier today. It was a map of Alberta showing a majority, all the oil deposits are in there. But you know what? We're talking about Epstein a little bit. You know what? Are you kidding me? Someone just cloned YouTube and called it JeffTube and linked and put all the Epstein videos in it. So if you want an interesting way, it's not leaked, but you know what? If you want to go ahead and actually get to that site, it's jmail.world/JeffTube or justice.gov/Epstein. So if you want to go ahead and have an easy interface to go ahead and watch all those videos that are, oh my God, craziness.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Can I interject something though?
Please do.
So I don't know if you're about to talk about this or not, but did anybody see where Pam Bondi had a dossier on one of the senators or Congress people, whatever they were, and it was their search history of the Epstein files. And it came out that, yeah, the DOJ recorded the search history of everybody, every congressman or senator or both, that went back to go look at the unredacted, everything exposed Epstein files, and they kept their search history. So, like, if you maybe went in and just searched for your name right away, you know, or my wife's name, or my buddy's name, or so
she's no more intelligent than Marsha was from the fucking Brady Bunch. I could call her Jan, but she's more like Marsha than she is Jan. Sure. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's an interesting. Some people are a little bit upset about that, like Janie Raskin, who is upset about everything.
Yeah, it's a mess. We've covered this one. All right.
Starting to attack.
This one's interesting. An alleged German whistleblower claims the AI god created in the quantum potential timeline has been overthrown from the seventh dimension and is now influencing ancient royal elites, underground reptilians, and extraterrestrial groups to reconstruct the AI so it can reconnect with the seventh dimension. They've talked about the AI that we're dealing with here could be from another dimension. He says the name and the location of the AI will be known and that humans will have a chance to stop it. Sounds like Terminator, my friends. He compares the names Yahweh and Jehovah with Huawei in the Yahoo version. I have released a 5th article about this on my Patreon for subscribers. We got to play this video. We got to play it. This just sounds kooky enough, but you know what? Welcome to ufology and conspiracy theories, folks. Let's see where this takes us.
Here on Earth with us snorting aggressively and soon starting to attack, it can and must be said, as it is called, that the companies that are in potential position to develop the AI beast on Earth can and must be named. The Chinese telecommunication company Huawei is currently an acute potential developer. It is also the web division of Yahoo named Yahoo Verizon, which has merged with Verizon. What do you mean these companies are acute? These companies are developing the AI? These companies are currently acute, yes. They are in trouble developing AI. The AI has to reveal itself by name, but it will only do this in secret. It must show itself by name because without clear identification, it cannot implement the necessary development positively. If you convert the only technically pronounceable letters of the company name Huawei, Huawei becomes Yahweh. The U remains almost silent in the Chinese.
Okay, I'm getting it. I'm receiving it.
I see. In the merger of Yahoo Verizon, you exchange the first two vowels of the double company name. Yahoo Verizon becomes Yehovah Verizon. Yehovah with the addition of Verizon, phonetically of accession. The name of a synthetic.
They didn't get the number that said that Verizon sold Fios to Frontier and then bought Frontier.
Intelligence extending to a god. Here on Earth with us.
I just saw this today and I had to go ahead and play it because it's so far out there. But you hear so many crazy different things coming up with ufology these days and everything else. It's just another conspiracy theory to throw out there. You're muted, Daryl.
I said, this makes as much sense as Nancy Guthrie's kidnapping. I mean, it's just, there's nothing about it makes any sense.
Oh, I know. But we do have some breaking news. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and, oh God, I can't pronounce this, whatever it is, sign an agreement with Hungary for civil nuclear cooperation between Hungary and the U.S. Yes, we know that Europe is fucked for energy right now and they're relying completely on Russia for their energy. But you know what? We've signed a deal with hungry, and I guess they're hungry for our nuclear energy, Daryl. I guess that'll be, I guess it would be a really good time to invest in Westinghouse right now.
Westinghouse?
They do, yeah. Who do you think builds all of our nuclear reactors?
Westinghouse?
Westinghouse, yeah. Seriously, look it up.
Okay.
Well, let's look it up. See if it happened.
But I think this is interesting that I guess they didn't have any nuclear.
Well.
It's...
Look at that. Look at Westinghouse's performance. Everything going from December up, and it had a big jump up today. So if you haven't considered investing in Westinghouse, well, there's a good opportunity. Their stock is only at $256 a share, which is a shy shorter of what it costs you to get an actual crypto coin these days.
What's 5 years? Oh, I'm still waiting for it to come up.
There you go, Max. It's only going up, my friend.
Big bump in...
Brian Pemble asked, did Pelosi invest in it? Probably. However, since, 9922, oh God, yeah, it's just skyrocketing. So, you can't see the left side of the chart. There you go. Yeah. They are the ones who developed the nuclear power plants in the United States. They talked about them losing money and everything for a period of time, but where they're at, oh, is that the hockey stick, Daryl, I'm looking at?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where that bump came from. Oh, yeah, 2024. What happened? Oh, yeah.
AI happened.
Yeah.
All right. This one I haven't had time to jump into. I just dropped 20 minutes of documented evidence. Foreign governments paid $150 million to geofence American churches. TPUSA network is in the filings. Show Faith by Works took $4.1 million for church surveillance. Clock Tower took $9 million through Brad Parscale. This is not theory. This is public records. They are tracking your phone when you pray, building psychological profiles on churchgoers, feeding AI systems to manipulate what you see online, all while claiming to defend Christianity. The framework drops the entire mechanism, how geofencing works. Trust me, I know that. I've been talking about this with Mike for months. How the money flows, how they built a surveillance state while you trusted them. Every name, every dollar, every receipt of what you've given, watch it, verify it, share it. They are counting on you to think this is too crazy to be real, but it's all documented. Daryl, this sounds like one heck of a mess.
Is it? I mean, that sounds like marketing 101 these days, because you can geofence anything, anywhere, down to a specific address. And everybody.
Well, geofence, depending on how they have it turned on, if they're doing tracking, they can get you down to within a 1 to 2 meter actual area of where you're at. So basically, a geofence is an area that they'll go ahead and draw in, like an area that goes around a particular situation. When you go into the bigger circle of that, they'll watch where you're at, watch if you're in the church, and then actually be able to determine where you're in that area for how long that you're there, and be able to line that up with what's going on in that facility. So it sounds like it's almost like Google. You go ahead and you look at something online, you deal with some other stuff, all of a sudden the Google app on your phone starts sending you all these links to all these different things that align with where your browsing and social media has been, because the Google ad network watches everything. This is the kind of stuff we're seeing, where not only are they watching people with what they're doing, they're watching where you're going and how long you're at. This sounds like the whole Facebook thing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we need to have a conversation since you and Mike were talking about this. This is my backyard. This is the stuff that I do. And you can get it down to one person sends an email in a building, and then that entire building starts getting sent, whatever you want sent to them.
How do you think they found the stuff out with the things that were going out at the lab in Wuhan? It was all based on third-party applications reporting back analytics of where people were at. And when the lab went silent and they kicked everybody out, there was this huge void of where all these people would go. And all of a sudden it was empty to show that they shut down a lab at a particular time. And they still had some certain people that were in it, but it's a way to watch where people are at and what they're doing over a certain period of time.
Yeah, I just think it doesn't make any difference if it's Christians, technologists, whatever, zookeepers. I mean, you can. That's the whole idea behind geofencing. You can create as finite a filter as you want to do your geofencing.
Yeah, whether you're going to a retail store or something else, Lowe's uses stuff all the time.
Yeah, people will go into Best Buy and people go into church.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff. Anything else we've got going on here? Let's take a look and see. No. Leave that one out of here. Americans for Transparency. All right. China has accurately dated modern fossils to have been more accurately dated. They're pushing it back about 150 to 200,000 years that they're finding Homo sapiens sapien dental records, if you want to call it, in China. So we've been around for a while. We've maybe been around a lot longer than what current, if you want to call it, archaeology believes. But the truth of the matter is, we look at those as ologists, meaning archaeologists, historians, etc. They're going ahead and protect their timeline and trying to say, no, this is when the timeline happens. But what's going on is we actually have China, again, trying to push the envelope to come out and say, yeah, we've been here for 150,000, 200 years in China as Homo sapiens sapien, which blows a lot of the modern timelines, Daryl, out of the water of where they think humans were at that point in time.
They still make shitty products.
They're robots.
They have all the time to perfect making products, and they still make them crappy.
Yeah, but the robots kick ass these days. All I have to say.
They literally kick ass and cut ass and whatever.
But all right, so this is the guy, Rupert Lowe, who is the new head of Restore MP, the Restore Party. They're saying this guy in the United Kingdom is a terrorist because of his beliefs. Let's see what the audience thinks.
Good evening, everybody. Forgive my slightly scruffy farm attire, but I've got some excellent news for all those who are following what we're doing at Restore Britain. We've just gone through 50,000 members, which is absolutely fantastic. It shows that people are following what we're doing and they are supportive of what we're doing, which I just can't thank them enough for. What I would say is that it's now, you can't rely on a small group of people to carry the burden of what needs to be done. So I appeal to all of you, join us in as many numbers as you can, but spread the word, start to challenge when you think things are wrong. Don't accept everything. Do it legally, do it fairly, do it in a British way. But please, let's spread the word. Let's collectively take on this malaise that has infected Britain. We need to get rid of it. So have a good evening, good luck next week, and thank you for watching.
Andy, you're in the back. I just have to ask for your thoughts, maybe if we can get them. What do you think about Restore UK and their movement?
I know that it's new on the block, and that's about it, to be honest.
And they pulled in 10% of the overall voters in a weekend.
Well, yeah, well, their membership, he says, is 50,000. Now, I just looked up the Conservatives, who aren't our main party at the moment. They are now down to, I think it's saying on here, 123,000 members. So actually, he's basically got more than a third of the membership of the Conservative
in
Party
a weekend.
at the moment. Yeah, basically, and I don't know what Labour is at the moment because they won't release their membership figures. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, who knows? Time will tell, you know, is it going to split the right?
Does he seem like a terrorist to you?
Seems like a farmer to me.
Yeah. Common sense, right?
Now, some would say so, some would disagree, and I'm being
you know, I would say he sounds like common sense. Like someone who's there, who's been there for a while, seeing the shit that's going on, doesn't agree with it, willing to call it out, and trying to get his fellow countrymen to come together as a group. Just so the audience knows, you're under duress. You have a very limited amount of things you can go ahead and say, because if you say too much, they'll be knocking on your door at 4:30 in the morning to haul your ass into jail.
I kind of feel a bit like your president now. Am I under a non-disclosure agreement? Well, no, I've not agreed to anything, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we've got you know, potentially 3 years to the next, you know, election, dependent on what's happening at the moment. So I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah. It's a mess, but our hearts and hopes and dreams are with you, and hopefully they can end that sooner than 3 years out, because it's going to be a long fucking 3 years for that matter with Starmer. Oh my God. Now, if I could go ahead.
See what happens after May.
Yes, if we can,
We'll see
yes.
what happens after the May elections.
Yeah, oh God, I think it's going to be a big swing. If you want to call incoming a filament eruption on the central meridian just south of the center disk, yes, we have an M-class flare heading our way, although we've had a lot of stuff coming from the solar stream coming off the overall sun at this point from the overall open areas on the sun. It's something more forward to look forward to. All right, just anything else that I'm missing here? I think about covered everything. Mikey, your thoughts?
Yeah, you covered basically everything for the show tonight. I like what the Reform UK Party is doing, and Andy is right. They're picking up steam pretty goddamn quickly. It's too bad that we can't show some support for them all the way from over here in the U.S.
Well, we are by what we're showing here, because our podcasts are not just shown in the United States, but they're shown everywhere across the world.
Yeah, you're right. It's a good point. I'm just saying more people should be supporting the work they're doing over there, I think.
Oh, God, yeah.
That party needs to pick up steam.
Oh, it does. All right. On that note, I've got I know we're a little bit late going on here, but I have for our audience who hasn't seen this from Saturday, I have a 7-minute clip here I'm going to go ahead and play throughout the rest of the show that comes out. This is talking from Rupert Lowe about Restore UK, what they're trying to bring to the country. These people are not racist. They are looking out for their overall country and trying to grow their own population versus bringing in a replacement, which seems to be the popular thing that the Labour is doing. It's going on in United Kingdom. It's going on in Canada. And don't forget, folks, we over 30%, Mike, of the Mexican population of the world is in the United States. Latest figures.
That's a large degree of that population.
If the dog whistle works, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this last clip here for our audience to go ahead and enjoy. All right, let's get to this one. Here we Zoom in a little bit larger. Yeah, it's probably going to go there. All right, here we go. This is a global message, not just for the United States.
I've chosen to speak to you today from the farm because places like this represent what proper Britain is about. Hard work, responsibility, effort, duty, stewardship.
And by the way, 22.5 million views on this already.
That I love. On a farm, you don't think in election cycles or headlines or polling. You think in seasons. You think in generations. In what you leave behind to those.
And what they're doing in the UK right now is they're putting high taxes in place that prevent farms being handed down from generation to generation to be sold off and auctioned to people who can afford it and to take it out of the farmers' hands. It's horrible.
Who come after you. And that's why here on the farm, I am now launching Restore Britain as a national political party. I'm now going to dedicate my life to finding, organising, funding, and providing hundreds of qualified candidates to present to the British people at the next general election. This process has already started, with invitations being issued to patriots in aligned political parties, Reform, the Conservative.
He calls it out, Mike, as going to patriots, but as Starmer would call it, they're terrorists.
No, they are patriots. They want their country back.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. Advance and more. In local politics, we will work in partnership with localized political parties, such as Great Yarmouth First, that have the best interests of their residents at heart, combining our forces at the next general election. The men and women standing for Restore in that election will not be politicians. I promise you that. They will not be failed ministers. They will not be tainted by failures of the past. They will be from business, from the military, from science, from medicine, from education, from industry, representing real communities up and down the country. Every single one will be from well outside the existing political establishment, and every single one will understand the difficult decisions that need to be taken. Because there are no easy fixes. I'm not going to tell you comforting lies about the condition of our country. I have only ever been honest with the British people, and I will be straight with you now. What is necessary will be incredibly painful. But for the first time in a very long time, voters will have a genuine alternative which is truthful with them about the scale of what now has to be done. The first priority is to control who comes to our country, and more importantly, who stays in our country. Restore Britain will not just stop mass immigration, we will reverse it. Every single illegal migrant will be securely detained.
You know what? It comes down to the question, Mike. Why go ahead and import a replacement population and pay them to come in and replace the population versus paying your existing population to repopulate on levels that are required?
No, if you're a patriot of that country, or any country for that matter, you want to deal with what helps you benefit where you are.
So in other words, stop pushing abortion and start pushing birth and promoting birth and encouraging birth and going ahead and paying for people to go ahead and expand the population like they have in the past.
Right, exactly. This movement has the right message, I think, for the people over there in Britain.
Even the United States, Mike.
Oh, no, listen, we desperately need a third party like this politically, as opposed to the Republicans or the Democrats. And if we had someone like this trying to form a similar party over here, I'd be behind it 100%.
Yeah. Firestarter, go ahead.
Hi there. You don't seem to have mentioned Advance UK.
Who?
Advance UK.
I'm not familiar with them.
They're all set up and running. They had their first, event.
Yeah.
Not so long ago, but
Yeah.
they've got
We'll have to check into them, Firestarter.
These guys, and they're trying to talk about joining together.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's what it comes
they're
down
the
to, a
same-
bunch of different groups to come together. Let's play the rest of this and we'll head off.
Same mantra as these,
then
but
deported.
for some reason.
The message will be unrelenting. If you are in this country without our permission, you will be removed. For the foreseeable future, far more people must leave Britain than arrive. If a foreign national is unable to speak English, lives in social housing, claims benefits, refuses to work, fails to integrate, commits crime, or even actively hates our way of life and wishes to do us harm, then they must leave or be made to leave. Restore Britain will make our communities safe again for women and children. That I promise you. If that means millions go, then millions go. We're constantly told that the economy needs vast swathes of low-skilled migrants. We know that's simply not true. What we need is to get millions of healthy Brits back into work. A radical overhaul of how welfare is delivered. Protecting those in genuine need, but not funding healthy shirkers to live off the back of hard-working men and women. If you can work, you must work. It really is that simple. Restore Britain will be abundantly clear. If you consistently refuse work, then you will lose your benefits.
Just like in the United States, if you refuse to go ahead and do what you need to do, volunteer or have a job, you're going to lose your SNAP benefits. We're tired of the people sitting home alone or sitting home taking all this money in and not actually contributing to society. We're not here to go ahead and pay for people to go ahead and be professional people on the on the government money train. No, we're here to go ahead and help people out of a hard time and get them out of that hard time.
We will punish indolence, and more importantly, we will reward success. We will provide vast economic incentives for men and women to start businesses, generate opportunities, build wealth, and create self-sufficient families. Standing here today on the farm, I know exactly what it means to deal with energy bills, labor shortages, regulation, unproductive paperwork, planning restrictions, tax, and endless uncertainty. The state has definitively become the enemy of the people. Restore Britain will burn away suffocating taxes on work and enterprise. We will slash unnecessary regulation. We will dismantle bloated quangos and the overbearing HR culture. We must crush parasitic Britain. We will restore long-term, stable, logical policy so that businesses can plan and invest and grow again. But Restore Britain is about much more than numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about who we are as a nation and who we are as a people. Britain is not just an economy. Britain is not just an idea. Britain is not.
Which really sounds like this conversation is going across Britain, it's going across Europe, it's across Canada, it's across the United States. And, we have to stop demonizing this kind of speech and realizing there's something to it.
Not just a passport. Britain is a nation. Britain is a people, our people. And Restore Britain will never allow that to be erased. We will celebrate our Christian heritage and the identity that built and shaped this country. Responsibility, restraint, forgiveness, duty, and fairness. In short, a high-trust society. That will mean defending our culture. That will mean resisting the relentless creep of radical Islam. That will mean banning the burqa, outlawing Sharia law, blocking cousin marriages, and reimposing our Christian-based
cousin marriages. My God.
The Britain government would legislate to ensure that no halal or kosher slaughter on British soil. This is Britain, and we will do things our way. This political party now exists for one reason: to restore Britain, to make it a better, safer, and more prosperous place for British men and women to raise their families. It will be difficult and it will be painful, but I assure you, it is possible. I hope you will consider joining me on this journey.
Oh, we will.
Becoming a member of our party.
Absolutely.
It is our country. It is now our collective responsibility to act. Together, we will restore Britain. Thank you.
You know, Mikey, this is someone who's interesting, brings out a good point, but brings us to the point to go ahead and show where we need to stand together as a community, as humanity, to keep our, if you want to call it, wherewithal with regards to how we view our current civilization.
Some good points. But I think the approach that they're taking over there with the third political party, and I also like the fact that he mentioned they don't want politicians in the party. They want people to run for office who are in academics, who are educated. Right. Non-politicians. It's a good message. Even farmers and other people
who just see common sense in the way we need to govern our lands and govern our countries, and not being brought in by these idealistic people off to the far left to go ahead and destroy what has taken generations to build.
100% correct on that, Thomas. You're absolutely right. That's why supporting this movement over there, this third political party, is a good thing, and I'm glad we're able to show it.
And we're showing, we're showing what's going on in that in the United Kingdom with Restore and Reform. We're showing what's going on in Alberta to go ahead and break away from these far leftist movements that are going on that are trying to destroy the civilization as we know it. I just don't get why they're pushing it there, Mike.
No, I don't know, but they're going to learn. Listen, Andy said that this party already has a third of what the governing party in the UK has right now. That said, that by the time they take this to a vote...
Sorry, Mike, no, it's the Conservatives. They've got a third of the membership. I don't know what Labour is because they're not releasing the numbers of members. So it's the Conservatives.
Well,
so the opposition.
I hear you. But I have a feeling that this party is gaining steam, and by the time that they're going to put this to a vote, I have a feeling they're going to have a lot of people behind them, Andy.
And you know who's been actually pushing, honestly, this integration or this replacement society coming from all these countries? It's the United Nations. And I hate to say it, Mike and Andy, it's something that probably needs to be shut down. It doesn't fit. We have these idealistic bureaucrats who are out there, autocrats, these people who are like represent big money, who are trying to do all this movement. But the reality is we need to look at what's worked for hundreds of years. Why destroy it? Why bring something different in? Truth Seeker understands it.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And granted, we did lose some viewers going ahead and watching this, but you know what? This is important. This is part of the message. This is part of where we're going on Disclosure tonight. It's not just a disclosure about UFOs. It's about the disclosure, what's coming in government, and more importantly, the bullshit statements that are saying that people like this. Mike, does he come across to you as a freaking right-wing terrorist or someone just with common sense?
He comes across to me as a patriot supporting his country from going down the toilet.
Right. And I think all the countries want this. We don't want the bullshit that's been going on. Nobody does.
No, which is why I said if there was a third party running here in the U.S. with this message, we would get behind it.
Yeah.
Cut through the bullshit on both sides of the aisle currently.
Yeah. Which is a mess.
It's a good video.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I played it again. I played this on Saturday, playing it again today because... for those who haven't heard it, I wanted them to hear it because this is the truth of what's going on in the UK. And don't think this is too far from the United States because it's in the UK, Mike. Or in Canada, where they want to go ahead and start censoring free speech because it doesn't meet with their dialogue of what they want to have out there. This is on the brink of what we're going to have here in the United States. come the midterms, come the next election, unless we fight against it, because I don't want this censorship. I don't want this bullshit in my country. I don't. But if we don't fight against it, this is, the same stuff that he's fighting against is the same bullshit that we're going to be dealing with if this comes into play.
Yeah, you're right. And if, depending on how the midterm elections go, we're going to find out soon enough that we're right behind the 8 ball, just like UK is right now.
Yeah. It's scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's why we're covering it. So we'll get the word out.
Yeah.
It's a good movement.
Can't wait to get to the cop videos. We have to go ahead and watch stuff that's going on with free speech. More importantly, people's understanding or lack of understanding of the law. It's crazy what people just don't understand. Mike, and I just have to say, I can't believe this stuff isn't being brought up in school and in high schools, so everybody understands when you get out, what are you going to deal with? Not only if we get you the license to drive the car, what happens if you get pulled over? And there's just so many stupid people out there.
Listen, they stopped teaching civics in elementary school since we were kids. They don't have the modern generation as aware of government and how things work like they once did. That's why this shit goes on today.
Yeah. Those videos will be fun, too.
Oh, they're going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I have a feeling the audience will get a kick out of it.
Yeah. On that note, I want to thank everybody for coming out to this episode of Disclosure tonight. Mike, thanks for being around. I appreciate you being here. Thanks to everybody in the back. I want to thank Daryl and everybody else who had things to say. It's been a great time.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good episode. Covered a lot of different things today.
Oh, yeah. Fun to have you around. And let's see if I can... Oh, come on. Let's see if I can get this thing running. As we usually say at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight, as long as Froggo, my sound effects application, will run. Eyes open, no fear, be safe, everybody, but...
Go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We'll catch you on the flip side. Good night, everybody. See you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.